too well. So what we're going to say is the player notices foot tracks belonging, foot tracks, humanoid foot tracks leading off into, a building nearby. That gives the players a hint that the actual bandits are holed up in that building that's nearby. So this is something that they'll discover, and we'll just make sure that they hit this en route to the bandits' house. So we'll say, remembering that the text only removes the word discovered from it. So we'll say there are humanoid tracks leading into the house. Okay. And I'm going to put this one to text only so we get rid of that word discovered. Now, again, this is all I'm trying to demonstrate here is how you can have multiple types of objectives in a single NPC and things like that. So you don't have to have all the same type of objective. You can have multiple ones and mix them up and whatnot. So, but the key to remember is that the player has to complete all the objectives. So if you're not careful, you could have the player go into the house, bypassing, the trigger that we're going to end up creating with this, get the letter or the contract that says, yeah, the bandit's been hired by such and such to loot the copper mines, bypassing this, but they won't be able to finish the quest because they haven't actually done this part. So you have to be careful too when you're doing them. The key part is they have to do all of the objectives to be able to finish the quest. So we're going to do that, and we're going to add another one. Now this one is going to be obtaining the letter or the contract that we've talked about. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an object, maybe a book or maybe a chest, that we're going to have the player loot this thing from. So that's going to be called loot a placeable. So we're going to say loot a placeable, and the objective is, as seen in the journal, is going to be find evidence. So that's what our objective is. Now, this looks a little different than the other objectives that we've seen. Because we're going to loot a placeable here, we need an actual placeable to loot, and we need an item that the player is going to loot. So we can either use one of the built-in ones by creating a copy of it, because remember, we can't really modify built-in blueprints, but we can make copies of them. So if we wanted to, find a chest, find one of the stock chests, and we'll just say, a small chest, we're going to create a copy of this chest. So these are all the stock blueprints. Or I can just, hit the new button and create a brand new chest, but why do that when there's some already there? And the item that we're going to create is going to be a letter. So we'll say new, and we'll just call this a mysterious letter, like that. Player is going to get one of these from the chest. Okay, so the player is going to loot a chest, and it's going to be a mysterious letter. So we'll hit finish, and that's going to be objective number 2. No props in this. Again, this letter will be automatically removed at the end of the quest. This prop item remove is only for other prop items, so you don't actually need to do that. And that's it. The quest is created. So we have our 2 objectives. We just have to implement. So we'll hit next, 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 next. Now we did say we wanted to give away 2 item rewards, or some item rewards. We want to reward the player with some items. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to, for simplicity, I'm just going to just randomly pick an item that's maybe a quarterstaff +1, and the player will get one of those. I can create brand new items if I wanted to. Maybe a I don't know, scimitar +1, maybe dagger +1. There we go. It'll be one of these and one of these, like that. Now remember, the player only gets to choose one of these. They don't get them all, so they'll have to pick. So we'll hit finish. And that's it. The quest is saved and done, and now it just needs to be implemented. Now, there's one more piece that we want to do before we actually implement the quest. Something we haven't seen before, and that is item rewards. When the player is presented with the finish quest dialog box, they're going to have to choose one of these rewards, but sometimes the names of them may not necessarily describe what they can do. So it would be nice if the player can click on them and actually get an examine window opened up to actually show what each item is. And you can certainly do that, however, you need to actually do one more step. In the area that occurs in where you have a quest reward, you have to actually lay a special waypoint. And this is the item viewer waypoint. Okay, under Legends Quest, under waypoints. You have to put this in a nice safe location that is walkable, that you want to be able to have item rewards displayed. So we'll just throw that right there. I'm going to keep it out of the way for sure. Now, by placing that item viewer waypoint in the area where the quest finishes, we'll be able to accomplish that. And I'll demonstrate that when we actually go to look at the quest. So now we have to actually implement that quest. Now the first part is already done. Captain Canna is already placed. Now the problem with this is that Captain Canna already placed doesn't work. And I'll show you why. I'm going to bring over Captain Canna's properties here. Now this is the instance of Captain Canna that we placed. And if we go down and look at her variables, we're going to see these variables for the report quest. So there's 6 variables here, and that's automatically created by the quest plugin. This is why spawning creatures is more valuable than actually placing creatures, because when you're using the quest plugin to manipulate NPCs and items, it manipulates the blueprints and not the actual instance. So if I have to delete that instance and replace Captain Canna down, because her blueprint is now different. If we go down and look, Captain Canna now has 10 variables on her blueprint versus the original 6. Okay, so if you're using a spawning system where you're spawning your NPCs, don't worry about that. Not a problem, because when you spawn, it spawns from the blueprint and it's always the most current version anyway. But if you're placing NPCs down like what I'm doing in this demo, be aware that whenever you modify a quest, the NPC's configuration may change, and if you're not replacing from a fresh blueprint, you may get unexpected results. So again, just another big advantage to make sure you're spawning your NPCs, and that goes for your placeables and things like that too, because quest placeables will behave the same way. So now we've got her created, or she was already created, but we got her replaced. Now remember, our Lieutenant Woodfirth was not a pre-existing NPC. We had to get the quest plugin to create him, so we will find him under Legends Quest NPC, Lieutenant Woodfirth. Now again, as I described in the first series of videos, this is not an NPC editor, so he has the generic appearance that you're going to want to change in real quests. But for this, we'll just leave him like that. Now again, I'm going to want to decorate this area with some other guards and things, and some more environment just to make it look better. But we're not demonstrating how to create areas here or create environment. We're just demonstrating quests. So for this, we're just going to use our imagination and pretend that this looks like a battle-worn area here. So that's Lieutenant Woodfirth. So we've got our NPCs done for this quest. Now we only need a couple of more things. We need to deal with our evidence and our trigger. So we'll close this area and move over to the area south of here. Okay, sorry about that. I was just interrupted again. So as I was saying, we're going to need to put some items over in the other area. So we'll open up our area that we've called South Trail, which connects to our South Gate area there. And open that up. And as you can see, it's basically just a pathway. I found this one on the vault. Again, I don't remember who made it, but kudos to whoever did. If you just let me know from on the NWN2legends.com website if you're the creator of this area, I'll make a post on there about it. And anyway, you'll come here, and I guess what we want to do is inside this little shack up here, we're going to have that chest with the evidence in it. So we want to put down a clue that the bandits, yes, they are indeed hiding out at the shack, and we want to make sure the player doesn't miss it. So we'll go to our triggers, and we look under Legends Quest, under Quest Triggers, and we'll see the actual trigger right here, the one that says there are humanoid tracks leading into the house. So that trigger is for this quest. So we'll put this one right around the house. So that gives the player a clue that when they start approaching this house, they're on the right track. So we'll use that trigger for that. And then of course inside the house, we'll call it the bandit cabin, is where our chest is going to be with the evidence inside it. So we're just going to place our chest. Now again, like all the other objects, we'll look under Placeables, Legends Quest, Quest Placeables, and we'll see our small chest here that was created for us. And I don't know, we'll find a nice little place in here for it. There's our door, so maybe just kind of right here in the corner. That'll be our chest. And just to confirm, if we look under items, under Legends Quest, we'll see quest items and we'll see the mysterious letter. Now, of course, this mysterious letter, we're going to want to actually put some text in this because this is not an item editor or an NPC editor or anything like that. So we want to actually modify our items to make sure they are the way we want them to be. So our description is just going to be something like, this appears to be a contract between a nearby... actually, we're not going to reveal who our big guy is yet. A contract between someone with the initials DW and the bandits. It would seem the person indicated has paid the bandits to get into the Legends village and enter the copper mines by force. The reasons why are not indicated. So again, this is not the greatest quest in the world, but that's not what it's for. It's to demonstrate how this works. So there's that. The player can pick up this letter, they'll look at it, and they'll see that information. And of course, when we hand it in to Lieutenant Woodforth, he'll read it, of course, and he'll continue on with the quest. So that's it. Our quest is now implemented, and that's all we have to do. Okay, sorry about that. It seems I'm an extremely popular guy today. Alright, so hopefully the next videos I won't be interrupted as much. So anyway, we'll continue on. And that's pretty much all we have to do. The quest is written and it's now implemented. And again, I didn't have to write a single line of code, and I don't have to worry about broken scripts or anything like that. I know the quest will work as long as I entered the information into the quest plugin correctly and everything makes sense in there. I've got objectives, I got the right objectives in there, and I've chosen the right placeable to place. I've got the right trigger outside. So just as long as I'm doing, the simple things, as long as I'm doing those right, this quest should just work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log back in. I'm going to close this up and log back into the world. I'm going to restart the Welcome to Legends quest and run through that real fast, just to demonstrate how you know, the one quest will activate another when it's finished, and go through these two quests and see how it works out. So we'll see you in game in the next video.